Okay. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Okay. So, right. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Deep Ministries. We are continuing reading the Christ letters. This week we start 3A, 3A of the Christ letters. If you've been following us, you know what the Christ letters consist of. If you haven't been following us, you could go back and watch letter one. We're on letter three, and the Christ letters are available online. They are PDF versions of the Christ letters, and they are also available on YouTube. There is a recording of all the letters. I think it's 5 or 7 letters. I don't even want to read ahead. I just go letter by letter. So you could go back to Deep Ministries, and we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, and we're also on Facebook, and you'll get an idea of what the Christ letters are about. This is Deep Ministry. I know I'm getting a lot of new subscribers. And this is not a church. Deep Ministry is mostly study. We go deep into the word, not just only of Christianity, but other religions and religious books and just it's all as I continue with this ministry, I think it's it's pending out to be all about learning about ourselves. Because when I said deep ministry, I had no idea the road I was going to go down. I started out with consciousness, then and then I was like, oh, consciousness. And then it took me subconscious. Not just there's a consciousness, the subconscious that I am. Now it's taking me to vibration, frequency, energy, matter, ether. Oh my gosh, I didn't know how deep this all went, how much has been hidden from us. And the only reason, I'm telling you, the only reason things are hidden from us is for us to realize who we are, the giants we are. We, it's like you tied up Samson. Samson was tied up and his strength took away his strength. This is who we are. We it is so deep who we really are that when sometimes and we sometimes when I read stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's probably 8 aspects of ourselves right here looking at me. Everything has to be the level we're vibrating at. Okay, go back and watch I did a live on Friday if you want to hear all more about the ether. And I know I'm gonna get deeper. The ether, it's ringing in my ear, ringing in my ear. And I just know. And listen, the ether was on the periodic table and it was removed. So you can do your own research. And all this is working on yourself. And I know yourself. And the more you find yourself, the more you vibrate higher, the more you go higher and higher and come into knowledge of self. It's not easy for some of the things, for some of us to really understand that, who we really are. I was just telling my husband, listen, you volunteered to come in this earth. I hope pe- I hope people gonna take this with an open heart, because listen, what we've been taught who we are, it's not. We have the God aspect of ourselves. Let's listen to this. The aspect of ourselves still, it's like we would call it, still remain Evan, our true self. The I am self, the I am self still remains in heaven. We came here with a team. we came here with a team. We can't see them, but because of the we're in this 3D, but eventually everything will be revealed. Everything will be revealed. And if you're listening to this and you think I'm crazy, it's that's what the Bible talk about. Everything's gonna be revealed. Everything. We call it judgment, we call it ascension. And now I'm thinking more like, and that's just based on everything that we are. Why I always get the feeling with everything that I've read that everybody's going to come into this knowledge. Everybody's going to get a chance to understand and come into this knowledge. And I'm thinking that in spite of where you're vibrating at, say we're on the 3D and we're vibrating in 5D, you're gonna have people in so much different levels of frequency. And I just think we're all still gonna be in the earth, but and by just like how we are right now, some's gonna raise higher. And you're gonna see people vibrating so high that those that still in that 3D or 2D can it's like Christianity, some aspect of Christianity right now, where you see people saved and baptized and worshiping, and but then everybody can go in church and baptize and worship him if you want that lifestyle. And I think that's how it's going to be. We're going to see people communicating telepathically. We're going to see people don't use cars. We're going to see people, I don't even know, live in the ether, live in the skies or stuff like that. Don't work, just don't live forever. And that aspect of us do live forever, but maybe not live forever, but not getting sick. That's transcending the world. And everybody gonna have the opportunity to do the same thing. So the more we read this, the more I come into I think that's somehow um whatever is causing the world, the earth, because we have to remember the earth is alive. The earth is just like us, energy vibrating at a certain frequency. And it's and if you understand the Christ letters, you understand that God constantly expanding. And the earth been at a place where it hasn't expanded, it hasn't grown. It's like I don't read it anywhere, but if you hear this, please, and comment. I think it was an attack on this earth. This earth was attacked and taken over, hostile takeover of Earth. I really think this was a hostile takeover of Earth, and some of our children are still struggling, and some of our children are prospering. So it has to be an even playing field, and as she rise, so does her children rise. So does our children rise, and the bad ones and those that took her over and attack the heartbeat, the ley lines. Please do your research on the ley lines, those energy spots that to keep the earth going. The ley lines that attack the ley lines, they have to go. If you attack the ley lines, you're attacking her heart center. And as she raised those that come and caused her to fell in such a low frequency has to go. They has to be removed. And so that's where we're at. It's a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time. And as always, God is love, and anything that is not love is not of God. All right, so tonight we're gonna go forward with the Christ letters. We're on letter 3A. We finished up letter 3. Okay, we're on. So, yeah, fine. So this letter three was all about the crucifixion, his ascension, and remember he said, the what we heard about Thomas putting his finger inside, Thomas putting his finger inside his wound, it is not true. That did not happen. No such thing happened. And when we learned that he rose from the dead, and the disciples saw him after, he wasn't physical. He was still spiritual, but he had the ability to lower his consciousness, and he go over how he lowered his consciousness. So it's some of his disciples, those who believe, it was 12 disciples, but the true ones, um, those who believe, could see him. He was all spirit. He had no need for the body. And now when you really look into it, you'll be like, how can we believe that when he rose from the dead, he rose with this flesh? I don't know how we were able to believe something like that. All right, so here we are. We're gonna go to letter 3A, and it says, it is my Christ, dearest, it is my Christ, dearest longing, these letters should be swiftly publicized and distributed to people seeking the truth. And I always say, if you find this channel, your soul, your true self, um, wants you to grow spiritually, and somehow you find this channel, please see why your soul brought you to this channel, whether in this live or at a later date. Please see why your soul wants you grow. There's something here, your soul, and that's our guide. Our true self is our soul. The I am, yes, the soul is the I am aspect of us. If you see, go back, I did a video about your conscious and your subconsciousness. That's the I am aspect of us. So your soul is the one that's prompting you to your true self. That's who you really are. That's still with the thought, with the source, still there. But you are here. We have to open our minds, because we can't, as Christ tell us, we can't understand how God works, but these are the little things we have to get up for earthly self. So and understand that our true self, that spiritual aspect of us, is still with the source, is still with the all. And if you find yourself um watching deep ministry now or later time, just see what the spirit wants you to get from these letters. Just like how my soul drew me to these letters, um just by accident, and I started reading, and here I am. So just remember, if somehow you stop on this channel, please just know that you just didn't stop because you just want to see who this is. There's something here for you, because this is the time of ascension. This is the time of growth. This is the time of knowledge. Okay? All right. It is my, okay, let me start over. This is, and again, we're starting letter 3A, and it always start each letter like this. This is very important. It says, it is my Christ dearest longing, these letters should be swiftly publicized and distributed to people seeking truth. If quoting from my letters, please state the source very clearly. Christ letters from Christ way. If you feel you would like to assist in publicizing and translating Christ's letters into other languages, donations may be deposited, and this is the address in South Africa, and this is um, the branch code and the account number if you want to make a donation to this foundation. If you like these letters and you think they've been a blessing to you, you could make a donation as you seem fit. So help the publication of these letters in different languages. Okay. And it says, I, the Christ, have come in my love for you to make a summary of all that I perceived during enlightenment in the desert and tried to teach the Jews in Palestine 2,000 years ago. Some details of my earthly life have been related in letters 1, 2, and 3. If you have read these, you will know it is of utmost importance to your well-being to understand whilst my followers eventually created a religion they called Christianity, founded on reports of my life and teachings. I am not dedicating these letters to teach and conform what my followers have taught. Christianity is a formal religion which, purely for reasons of expediency, took on many beliefs contrary to the spiritual truth of our source of being. So this is what it's saying. This is what Christ saying, telling us the reason for writing these letters. He's trying to differentiate in some way what is disciples taught is is disciples created religion called Christianity. Let me highlight some of this. Called, he's saying that his followers created the religion called Christianity, founded on reports of life and teaching. He said reports of life and teaching. He says these Christ letters. He's not dedicating these letters to teach and to conform what my followers have taught. This is not the purpose. This is not the thing has to do with religion. He said Christianity is a formal religion which purely for reasons of expediency took on many beliefs contrary to the spiritual truth of our source of being. So Christianity is just a religion. Christianity is just a religion, and basically not, it's not what Christ taught, you know. In some aspect it's not why he truly came. Everything has been so distorted because, and if you understand who we truly are, you understand why it was distorted for us to be ruled by governments and leaders. We don't have to be ruled by all that. For some slave mentality, this slave mentality for us to think that we're nobody and we're just these people in little self, these people in this flesh, and we're the only one in the universe, and Earth is the only planet in the universe. I do not know how we could have believed this for so long. And some of us still believe in it. that who God is, as great as He is, we're the His only creation, other than what we see in only what we see in this world was created. Come on, and we are the only people, really. And now they want to scare us about aliens coming. It's other people coming. It's like you leaving here to go to Chicago and or leave here to go to California. People always move. People always move. Now they control. Um, now you have to have passport, you have to have visas and stuff to go to. People from the Caribbean was coming here before Christopher Columbus. People from Africa and Europe been coming. People been. This earth is billions of years old. They try to tell you, oh, they were what they call them. They were cavemen. They were this. They were no. There is proof that those there's past civilization always was way ahead of what where we are right now. You have to believe that. You have to do your own work. That's why there's a channel called Autodidactic, and I like that name. Self-taught, self-teach yourself. Don't depend on what you've been taught growing up. Don't depend on that. And so Christ is saying here, Christianity is a formal religion which, purely for reasons of expediency, took on many beliefs contrary to the spiritual truth of our source of being. He said, what was the spilling of blood? What has the spilling of blood to do with the universal spirit? Okay. He said, what has the spilling of blood to do with the universal spirit? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. As you must now realize, my teaching from the very beginning of my mission on earth in Palestine has always been born of the highest spiritual truth of existence, having nothing to do with the human concepts and rationalization as taught by human minds. Therefore, I repeat emphatically, whilst my persona on earth 2,000 years ago was that of Jesus, the purpose of my presence, the Christ presence within these letters, is to reach sensitive and inspired souls to teach them how to draw on divine assistance during the future horror in which the world will ultimately be embroiled. For this reason, my powerful longing to rescue those who can receive me has been crystallized in the form of truth of existence within this letter. Know this, heed it. And in the previous letters, he said that's why he came. That's why he came to tell us about the truth of existence. I'm going to read this paragraph again. He said, as you must now realize my teaching from the very beginning. Now, first he said, what has the spilling of blood? And now, yeah. Okay. It says, what has the spilling of blood do with the universal spirit? As you must now realize, my teaching from the beginning of my mission on earth in Palestine has always been born of the highest spiritual truth of existence. having nothing to do with human concepts and rationalization as taught by human minds. Therefore, I repeat emphatically, whilst my persona on earth 2,000 years ago was of Jesus, the purpose of my presence, the Christ presence within these letters, is to reach sensitive and inspired souls to teach them how to draw on divine assistance during future horror in which the world will ultimately embroil. For this reason, my powerful longing to rescue those who can receive me has been crystallized in the form of truth of existence within these letters.
If one of them in try, if it turn up with it.
Know this, heed it. You know, so as it is saying, it's teaching from the beginning. And although sometimes we don't see it in the Bible, was to tell us about the truth of existence, you know. The mission. Uh it says this truth, the mission on earth in Palestine always was born in I spiritual truth have nothing to do with human concepts and relation and rationalization as taught by human minds. Nothing to do what we do, the traditions and stuff we do in the name of Christ. It says, therefore, I repeat emphatically, whilst my persona on earth 2,000 years ago was of Jesus, the purpose of my presence, the Christ presence within these letters, is to reach sensitive and inspired souls, to teach them how to draw on divine assistance during the future horror in which the world will ultimately be embroiled. During the future horror in which the world will ultimately embroil. For this reason, my powerful longing to rescue those who can receive me has been crystallized in the form of truth of existence within these letters. Know this, eat this. And Christ is saying here, he had to write these letters because he know there's something coming where we have to know who we are, where we have to know who our God is, where we have to know what Christ really wanted us to know. He's saying there's a future horror. Something's coming where it's gonna be incumbent on us. And that's what I talked about in the beginning, that you get studying all this, you get the understanding that if you hear these letters and you be like, it's not for me, it's you, everyone gonna have to come to this truth. Everyone gonna have to come to this truth, whether by will or by force. Because there's something coming where we have to know who we are, where we have to know who our Father is, who our God is, who Christ is, you know, else, or else. And this is one of his reasons because he's seeing that his ultimate purpose on earth has been distorted. His real truth, the real reason for Christ coming on this earth hasn't been taught, or barely hasn't been taught, or has been written in code. Because when you come into the knowledge of who you are, you understand what Christ was really trying to say by some of the things, some of the parables that he told us when he told us the kingdom of heaven is within us. I would challenge myself to understand what Christ meant by that. That is everything. The kingdom of heaven is within us, and greater things than he did, we would do. I would challenge myself to understand what Christ was talking about. We have to. So he said, I would have you know and take particular note that I came to the Jews in Palestine 70 years ago before Jerusalem was razed to the ground. I came to the Jews to warn them that their code of conduct would be of no value to them when the future time of travail came upon them, sending them out into a hostile world. It is recorded in a gospel that I wept in despair, lamenting the fact that I would have gathered the people as chicks beneath a mother's hand breast to protect them in their time of destruction. But the people would not heed me. Instead, their religious leaders put me to death. Mhm, mhm. And if we're saying, oh, that's the Jews, oh, that was the Jews, we wouldn't have put him to death. We wouldn't have done that. We would have we would have listened to him. But here he is in these letters telling us. He warned us at the beginning of these letters, he warned us that they're gonna hate us, they're gonna call us devil. Good evening, Sister Miller. Good evening. God bless you too.
Good evening, Sister Debbie.
Good evening, sis. Yes. And yeah, and if we're saying that, oh, they only killed only the Jews killed Christ. No, if you read these letters and what these letters are saying, this is Christ coming consciously um, to us. He's coming consciously to us to warn us. We call it the horror that's going to take place because he said he come because he told us that his true teaching of what and understanding has been distorted and put in religious dogma and so many things we didn't his word what he truly wanted to tell us we didn't get, so that's why he's here now. And right here he's saying he came to tell the Jews, he came to tell the Jews that they have to change their conduct. And I'm not even gonna say put the word Jews, I'm gonna read this paragraph, I'm not even gonna put the word Jews, I'm gonna put the this world. He came to tell this world, here we are in this time. And the same thing happened then. It's the same thing's going to happen now. Because of our religious beliefs, because of all that, then we're going to miss because um, we think we know what Christ really said, and we're so embedded in our beliefs that we have the possibility to miss this. So he said, I'm not even going to put the word Jews, I'm going to put the word this world. I would have you know and take particular note that I came to the Jews in Palestine 70 years before Jerusalem was razed to the ground. I came to the Jews to warn them that their code of conduct would be of no value to them when the future time of travail came upon them, sending them out into a hostile world. So that's what's coming up for us. All that we've been taught in the church, all that the church has taught and our beliefs is gonna put to test, gonna be put to the test. So we have to make sure it's solid. He said, it is recorded in the gospel that I wept in despair, lamenting the fact. I think it only says Jesus wept. That I wept in despair, lamenting the fact I would have gathered the people as chicks beneath the mother beneath a mother's handbreast to protect them in their time of destruction. But the people would not heed me. Instead, their religious leaders put them to death. You know? So those who have ear will hear. And there's a scripture says, as in the days of Noah, so will it be in the end. People is not going to take heed, but you just have to go on with the word. But after, so he's likened it until he came and to put like when you see a mother hen with her chicks underneath her, He's lightning is coming when he came as a mother hen with his chicks with her chicks underneath her to protect them from the destruction that's coming. But guess what? The people did not eat. Instead of staying under the protection of the mother hen, no, they followed the religious leaders. Instead of staying under the protection of what Christ was really saying, they went by their own beliefs, they went by their own understanding. So it's the same time we're living in today. He said, but after the dispersal of the Jews, when their temple was taken from them, did they learn from their experiences? Did they wonder why such a catastrophe had overtaken them? No, they continued in their old traditions and beliefs in their superiority, although repeatedly historical events proved to them that they were subject to disaster, as were other people. All this very time, they have chosen to ignore the truth of existence as I taught them in Palestine, and are bringing upon themselves the self-same conditions as followed by earthly life in Palestine. No matter where they may reside, their materialistic values, their head foreign high traditions are drawing to them the human sorrow they have created for others down the ages by their ignorance and greed. Everything they have endured, they have brought upon themselves. And this is what Christ's been telling us. This is what he's telling us. Because he wants us to understand the truth of existence. He wants us to understand the truth of existence. It's important. It's important we understand the truth of existence. That's everything. When Christ says, of myself, I can do nothing, when he tells us that, he said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all things will be added. He's talking about a greater power, a greater power than himself. When he is enlightenment in the desert, he saw how we were created. Oh, God is. And he said he saw that this body that we have, everything, not just the body, the flowers, the water, nothing was solid. He saw that nothing was solid. And everything, to the tiniest of motes, he called it, to the tiniest of particles, to the tiniest of cells, as we call it, atoms, everything in it has an aspect of God in it. Everything. everything in creation as an aspect of God in them. That's why he was so adamant about the truth of existence. And in the other letters, he tells us that because we get our being from our Father, from our Creator, that's why we're so powerful. That's why we create these situations we find ourselves in. That's why we create ourselves. If we find ourselves in a situation that we right now, don't look at no one else. Look at ourselves. Look at your thoughts. Look at your beliefs. This is what this ministry about. It's for you to do the work on yourself. Stop looking outside. If no one outside can hurt your subconsciousness, we program our subconsciousness. That's what's dictating our existence. Your subconsciousness doesn't understand that you want somebody outside to die or what. Not that they can't influence in some aspect, but what it's mostly what you think, what your thought is. That's how you get your blessing. If you think somebody's gonna hurt you, then they will. You know. So raise our energy, raise our energy, what we want, the good things, not this world is so fear-based. And that's causing everything we see here. We fear everything. We fear, 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 fear. And that's the plan of the enemy. We have been programmed that way. Born in sin, shape in iniquity. We have been programmed because the enemy of our soul. I hear somebody use that word and it's the perfect word. If you want to know who the enemy of our soul knows that we don't know the truth and they want the soul, so they're digging us deeper. That's what the Antichrist is about. The enemy of our soul is the Antichrist. So if you're looking for somebody to come with a 666 on his forehead or on his arm, it's the enemies of our soul. They built this world, this fear-based world. Oh, we have to have somebody ruling over us. Oh, it's we have to have that car. We have to have that house. We have to go to work and work till we're 65. And 10 years later, we work more than how we live. No, that's not who God is. And we have to understand who our God really is. So this also applies to those who, through expediency, have allied themselves with Jews because of their financial power within world financial spheres and world markets. Who is it who is it keeps the vast majority of the world population hungry when there is sufficient food stockpiled to feed people adequately if profit as motive for existence were were abandoned? Hmm? This is a good question. Let me go back. He said this also applies to those who, through expediency, have allied themselves with Jews because of their financial power within world financial spheres and world markets. Who is it that keeps the vast majority of the world population hungry when there is sufficient food stockpiled to feed people adequately if profit as motive for existence were abandoned? Hmm? Who is it? I would love to know who is it that does this. Who is it? There is enough food to fill the population. There is sufficient food stockpiled to feed adequately, but it's profit as motive for existence were, if profit as motive for existence were abandoned. Yeah, there's people who, yeah, yeah, there is no food for everybody, but everything is about money. We're finding that out. And I think everything's about energy. And it's more energy than money. And you could say money is energy, but it's energy. They feed off this energy where we're so hungry for money and lack. They like that energy. Lack is a form of energy, just want that money or depression or mind in the gutter. There's some powers that be that feed off this kind of low vibrational energy. That's what this has done. I know people's gonna say, you know what, deep ministry, I think it's money, but I think it's deeper than money. I think it's deeper than money. I think we the enemy of our souls. I'm going to use this as a more the enemy of our souls, the antichrist. They can't create as God children create can create. So they feed off our ignorance. They feed off we don't understand who we are. So they keep us in want. They keep us in need. When now your eyes are opening and you understand, I'm like, stuff we do don't make sense. It's like we keep ourselves in bondage. It doesn't make sense. Why would we work the money, put it in the bank, and then give the bank authority to tell us what to do and then charge us fee for spending our money? Why did we come up with that? Obviously we were under some spell. Why do we pay for water that's come free? Why do we pay taxes for land that on the earth that we were born on? Look at the things. There's a lot of people out there really asking some good questions, especially our young people, you know? So I don't think it's money. I don't really think it's money. Thank you, sis. I don't really think it's money. They want our souls. They want our low energy just constantly in lack because that's what we're thinking. Even though Christ tell us to seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all things will be added. You know, we look with our physical eyes, we don't see that money in the bank account, and that not energy, that worry, that fear, that this. We start jealous from our brothers, jealous of our sisters, and know that we have the same power to be successful as our brothers and our sisters. You know, so we gotta wake up to what this world truly is. This world is not for us. This world wants us to keep us at a place where we create that world for them. We are creating that world of lack. And then we talk about, oh, people wicked. We talk about our children dying because we're helping to create that. You know, we gotta change our thinking. We gotta change even the way we speak. He says, given the will, financial leaders could formulate and embark on plans to distribute the surplus of goods to the underprivileged. If they were to do so, they would find the entire universe responding with blessings. World economy would flourish and peace would become a world condition. Of course, because if you look at it, money is printed, you know. Money is Money is printed. They have the ability to print any amount of money they want. They have the ability to print any amount of money. Unless as a people, unless we as a people really question everything, you know. We're waiting. I think we have this thing that we're waiting for Christ to come and do it for us. But listen, Christ is coming internally. That's why you're you're questioning everything. That's why you're seeing the depth of the deception, you know. This is what I hope for, you know, that everyone I- is fed adequately. He said, given the will, financial leaders could formulate and embark on plans, distribute surplus of goods to the underprivileged. If they were to do so, they would find the entire universe responding with blessings. World economy would flourish and peace would become a word of a world condition. But that's not it. If we're all blessed and that good energy and all that, if that's happening, then they don't want that. There's the powers that the enemy of our souls don't want that. He said, but this can happen what has already been created in consciousness and by aggressive, debased actions worldwide must first be drawn into materialized human experience, not as retribution, but as a natural working of the laws of existence. Yeah, Christ said this can happen, not with violence. This can happen. He said, before this can happen, what has already been created in consciousness, and before this can happen, what has already been created in consciousness and by aggressive, debased actions worldwide must first be drawn into materialized human experience, not as a retribution, but as a natural working of the laws of existence. So, yeah, so what our consciousness is looking at right now, this is how it's going to start under the laws of existence, not by retribution, not like some people like, oh, we got to do something. Yes, it's frustrating, but we have to remember karma. We have to be careful because karma, if you don't follow the laws of existence, and the enemies of our souls follow the laws of existence. They follow the laws of existence. They follow them. They know them to a T. That's why we wonder why the wicked perish, why the wicked prosper, because they make sure they stay in the laws of existence. They make sure. So I said, rest assured that countries who resist the evil of others are only resisting the consequences of their own seeds of consciousness and actions in years gone by. Therefore, bully boy tactics, the ferocious attack on the mighty upon the weak, no matter how intransigent and weak may appear to be, can only bring even greater times of troubles for the bullies, where they experienced a pinprick they are stockpiling in consciousness, the future devastation they are presently dumping on others. Perhaps they should regard the pinprick from the weak as a bugle call to alert them to their own downward slide into moral decadence. Okay, so let me read this again. Talking about the people of this world, the tactics they use. All right. He said, rest assured that countries who resist the evil of others are only resisting the consequences of their own seeds of consciousness and actions in years gone by. Therefore, bully boy tactics and ferocious attack of the mighty upon the weak, no matter how intrinsic intransigent the weak may appear to be, can only bring even greater times of trouble for the bullies, where they experience a pinprick. They are stockpiling in consciousness the future devastation they are presently dumping on others. For us, they should regard this pinprick from the weak as a bugler call to alert them to their downward slide into moral decadence, into moral decadence. So he's saying that those bully boy tactics of and the Bible rightly tell us about them, of the bully boy tactics of the strong. You see somebody's weak, like say, let me lose the African continent, you go around with your bully boy tactics and try to influence. And yes, the pushback on those small countries is just like a pinprick to the bullies, just like a pinprick to the bullies. But listen, he said the bullies should heed to these pinprick because they're piling up in consciousness. They're piling up in consciousness. So nothing that you're doing, that they're doing, is unseen by God. God sees everything, and he said, what you sow, you will reap. So Christ is just telling us that their day is coming. All these little pinpricks, all these little fight back. When a bully attack you, you keep fighting back, and you'll be like, oh, we can't overcome them. But that little tiny pinprick, little tiny fight back is gonna add up, and everybody's gonna get their karma. Everybody's gonna get their karma. So it's saying because such people are constantly breaking the laws of existence and drawing destruction on an unparalleled magnitude upon cities and earth, it is my intention in these letters not to only summarize all that I taught and lived in Palestine, but to spell out clearly the underlying cause of your approaching world crisis, which I did not cover when last I came to mankind in speech. Wow, wow. So Christ is saying that these bullies, they're constantly they're constantly breaking the laws of existence and drawing destruction of an unparalleled magnitude upon cities and earth. It is my intention in this letter not only to summarize all that I taught in Palestine, but to spell. So, so we see what's causing destruction upon our cities. They're breaking the laws of existence. Breaking the laws of existence. I think I want to do this. Breaking the laws of existence. Oh, yeah. No, I can't see this. I'm gonna undo this. Nine, nine. Okay. Yeah. The enemies of our soul is constantly breaking the laws of existence. That's what's causing all this violence and everything upon earth. Christ tell us, the Bible tells us it's not flesh and blood, it's principalities, it's powers, it's spiritual wickedness in high places that's causing this devastation. And all we can see is our sisters and brothers. All we can see is our sisters and brothers. Yep. So he's saying it is my intention in this letter not only to summarize all that I taught and lived in Palestine, but to spell out clearly the underlying cause of your approaching world crisis, which I did not cover when last I came to mankind in speech. It said these letters have been written prior to the most crucial time in your history. And when the travail is truly upon you, you will wonder why I did not warn you earlier. Well, I have to tell you, through receptive minds, I have been trying to alert the world the past 25 years, but neither media nor publishing house nor TV was prepared to listen and give me the opportunity to speak to you through my agents. Politicians could reach you, but I, the Christ, could not do so because of the hardness of your hearts and your refusal to concede that I, the living Christ, could return at this time through deprogrammed and dedicated minds to warn nations of what they were creating for themselves in the future. Oh wow. Yeah, he's been trying to warn us about our impending doom, what's coming upon this earth, what's coming upon this earth. Everyone can reach us except Christ. Everyone can reach us except Christ because we were taught. And I like the that he said receptive minds, deprogrammed minds. That's what it means to be born again. If you're listening, that's what it means to be born. Deprogramming your mind or deprogramming your beliefs and let your mind full with that mind of Christ. Let your higher self, the I am, the Christ self, come in and lead and guide you into all truth. That's what that being born again, aspect of being born again. He said the churches who claim to believe in my existence have been as self absorbed to their own humanly conceived religious traditions as have the materialists. Okay. You know, if you know Christ, Christ laid out. He doesn't hold. Okay, let me start over again. The churches who claim to believe in my existence has been as self-absorbed in their own humanly conceived religious tradition as have the materialists. Now at the 11th hour, when fear has descended on the masses and they are prepared to heed my words, the door must surely open, or again my efforts for humanity will have been in vain. Mm. The door must be open if you're watching. And as I said before, if you find this message, if you're listening on this live or later, this you are one of the receptive minds that's going to bring this word um, for, to the masses because of the, as Christ called it, the impending doom is coming. And only the knowledge of self, the knowledge of Christ, the knowledge of existence will people be able to escape it. So he's just going to Christ is just telling us that he's been trying to reach us over 25 years. He sent prophets, he sent teachers, he sent so many people and no one. So here we are tonight. Here we are tonight. I'm going to start this again. He said, the churches who claim to believe in my existence have been as self absorbed in their own humanly conceived religious tradition as have the materialists. Now, at the 11th hour, when fear has descended on the masses and they are prepared to heed my words, the doors must surely open, or again my efforts for humanity will have to be in vain. I have come to say there will indeed be a sorting of the goats from the sheep, as have been recorded in the gospel in the Bible. The sheep refer to those souls who can peacefully receive the highest spiritual truth, yet dispensed on earth. The goats refer to those who do not have the capacity to listen to anyone or anything because they have too great a rebellious spirit and ego drive. And right here, you read this, you have to determine where do you fall in what Christ is saying right here. Are you the goat or the sheep? And this is his description who the goat is and who the sheep is. He said, I have come to say there will indeed be a sorting of the goats from the sheep, as has been recorded in the Gospels in the Bible. The sheep refer to those souls who can peacefully receive the highest spiritual truth, yet dispensed on earth. Hmm? That's what the goat represents. That's what the sheep represent. And the goats refer to those who do not have the capacity to listen to anyone or anything because they have too great a rebellious spirit and an ego drive. With this is what he said, I'm sending you to a rebellious house. They have a too great of a, this is who the goat is. Because he said there will be a sorting of the sheep and the goats. Why will they be separated at this times? They will be separated because those who are able to receive the truth contained within these pages and to live by the guidelines of the laws of existence will find that although the next period of world history will be bitter indeed, they will continue to in comparative peace and protection, fulfillment of need, and upliftment of spirit. The goats, unfortunately, will have to endure all the horrific force of their innate rebellious consciousness. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Sip. Let me sip on my tea. Mm. This is Christ telling us why there will be a separation. What's coming? This is all what's coming. There's going to be a new earth. Things can't continue the way they are. And when if you listen or read the Christ letters, we each have to decide, are we sheep or are we goats? You know, he says, ask, he says, why will they be separated at this time? They will be separated because those who are able to receive the truth contained within these pages and to live by the guidelines of the laws of existence, will find that although the next period of world history will be bitter indeed, they will continue in comparative peace and protection, fulfillment of need, and upliftment of spirit. The goats, unfortunately, will have to endure all the horrific force of their innate rebellious consciousness. And this is what some aspect of what the Bible says. Because in spite of the storm, they will be protected. In spite of what, the sheep will be protected. In spite of what's coming, you know, they don't have to worry about what's coming, what's next, because they will be protected. And everything here is the laws of existence, talking about the laws of existence. Okay. All right. So now we get into the depth. People gonna say, oh no, this is a punishment from God. So here it is. This is not a punishment from someone and I, but a natural working out of the laws of existence. What you carry in your minds and hearts will eventually externalize in your body, life, and environment. When you resist and rebel, life offers resistance to you in the fulfillment of your desires. I have long since ascended to the highest frequencies of consciousness, vibration in the celestial kingdoms, and I'm divine consciousness itself individualized. My consciousness can encircle the globe to whoever calls on me. So it is with all the great teachers who have lived on earth and were enlightened and perceived the reality of the source of all being and have taught people from their exalted level of enlightenment. They were lifted in spiritual power to penetrate the dense veil of human consciousness and perceive that truly lay beyond the world of matter. They saw as clearly as previous mental conditioning would permit the basic unity of creation within the realm of creativity itself. Okay, let me take time and break this down. So Christ is telling us that, basically saying, listen, you have so many spiritual beings working on behalf of you. They have transcended the spiritual realm. It's the same people that you hear and we'd be like, oh, we don't believe in them. We don't believe. And then there's so many people. And if you call on him, Christ, he said, if you call, he said his consciousness can reach to the end of this world. If you call on him, he will answer. He will answer. So let me go paragraph by paragraph. He said, this is not a punishment from someone and I, but a natural work out of the laws of existence. What you carry in your minds and hearts will eventually externalize in your body, life, and environment. When you resist and rebel, life offers resistance to you in the fulfillment of your desires. That's what this is. What you sow, you reap right here. That's the law of existence, too. All right. That's the law of existence. So you control your own destiny. This is not a power. Whatever is coming is not a punishment from an I. It's not a punishment from the source. It's all us. Okay. You're hearing this message for a reason. It's all us. Don't resist what Christ is trying to show us at this time. Next paragraph, it says, I have long since ascended to the highest frequencies of consciousness vibration in the celestial kingdoms, and divine consciousness itself individualized. My consciousness can encircle the globe to whoever calls on me. So, if you've been listening to me, consciousness that is it it is, I wouldn't say awareness. So Christ, his knowledge is so vast. He's closer to source than us. As you've been listening to me, the law of polarity is also a laws of existence. There's one we are two persons of the same pole. So at one hand, you have spirituality, and say at the other end, you have, say, where we are right now, because we're probably in the lowest density. We're physical. So between that place where the source is, the God, the creator God, and density, there's so many different consciousness in the pole betwixt, because we can go where Christ is, and we can be where we are. That's why Christ says, when after his crucifixion, he fell in consciousness. He came back more. It's the same God who's up there with source and all that. Came back to the earthly realm. That's the law of polarity. That's who we are. Another example, you said the water is hot and cold. It's the same water, and it can be hot and cold, good and evil. You say, oh, that person's evil. But that person can also be good. So that's one of the laws of existence too. That's part of the seven Hermetic principles. So this is what's telling us that Christ is telling us that although it's consciousness, is highest frequencies of consciousness vibration in the celestial realm. Remember, we said everything vibrates, everything vibrates at a certain frequency. So he's way up there in consciousness and his awareness. Okay? And he says his consciousness can celestial, okay. Vibration in I have long since ascended the highest frequencies of consciousness vibration in the celestial kingdoms. And divine consciousness itself individualized. Individualized. That's mean it's the same divine consciousness that comes from the source, that comes from the all. My consciousness, he said, so consciousness is your mind, your thought, whatever encircles the whole globe, he says, to whoever calls on him. So it's awareness, no matter where we are. That's how it is. That's how divine he is, no matter where we are. If we call, he can answer. So is it. And this is what I like too, because I'm seeing a lot about other great teachers. He says, so it is with all great teachers who have lived on earth and were enlightened and perceived the reality of the source of all being, the reality of the source of all being. Source, that's what we call God, the source of all being. They understand creation, they understand the truth of existence, and taught people from their exalted level of enlightenment. There's a lot of consciousness that's coming through to us at this time. Someone was talking about Saint Germain. I know, use the read the I am concordance of Saint Germain. Buddha is not, I just was listening to, what's her name? Buddha is a state of consciousness. I know they personalize him, but Buddha is a state of consciousness. Be careful who you're saying stuff about. There's a lot of beings who went through this earth just trying to enlighten us, just trying to wake us up. There, they were lifted in spiritual power to penetrate the dense veil of human consciousness. You know, and uh, we'll understand our human consciousness is dense. When you try to meditate, oh my gosh, it's like you go through a black hole. Just, just so many thoughts, so many thoughts. It's not easy to reach us. We're so dense with our beliefs and our things we get caught up with. That's why Christ used receptive mind when he's talking about those people who we can come and speak with. He talked about receptive minds because some of us mind is so dense, programmed with so many different things. It's hard to reach us. It's hard to reach us. So it says they were lifted in spiritual power to penetrate the dense veil of human consciousness and perceive that truly lay beyond the world of matter. And we talked about matter. Um, I know the Christ letter says matter is everything visible, but I like the other definition that matter. I know we're taught in school that matter is solid, liquid, and gas. Solid, liquid, and gas is also matter, but I like matter is a force of energy, and everything is energy. Everything is energy. Okay. They were lifted in spiritual power to penetrate the dense veil of human consciousness and perceive what truly lay beyond the world of matter. They saw as clearly as previous mental conditioning would permit the basic unity of creation within the realm of creation. They saw as clearly as previous mental conditioning would permit the basic unity of creation within the realm of creativity itself. So I like what it says, as their mental conditioning would permit, they saw the basic unity of creation within the realm of creativity itself. So these enlightened beings also descend um, to see what lies beyond the world of matter, and what they saw, they could only see as what their previous mental conditioning would permit them. And it's a basic, they only saw the basic unity of creation within the realm of creativity itself. Okay. And it says, one and all have, after transition into the next dimension of existence, escaped the treadmill of reincarnation and moved on into ever higher realms of individualized, pure spiritual consciousness to the portals of universal consciousness itself. They have become individualized divine consciousness, possessing the power and the insight of divine consciousness. They too share in the Christ consciousness, as I said in an earlier letter. They combine the heights of intelligent love with the heights of loving intelligence, combing the power of will with the power of purpose. They are equally male and female in their drives. They are the perfect demonstration of strength and nurturing. Oh, so So, oh, so this is saying, so this is saying what we can, and never, this is the first time Christ used reincarnation. Reincarnation. Mm. So this is saying these enlightened beings, they were lifted in spiritual power and they penetrate the dense veil of human consciousness and and perceive what truly beyond the world of matter. And there's people in this world that did this and they saw as clearly as previous mental condition would permit. So that's probably when you meditate. The basic unit of creation within the realm of creativity itself. One and all of after transition into the next dimension of existence, escaped the treadmill of reincarnation. The treadmill of reincarnation. So it seems as if um people were there's some people out there that says they're we keep reincarnating and reincarnating into this realm. After we die, we come back as somebody else. But it seems like we come back in the same family. Mm. They escape the treadmill of reincarnation. And when they escape the treadmill, instead of coming back to this earth, um, and moved into the higher realms of individual pure spiritual consciousness to the portals of universal consciousness itself. So we call that universal consciousness. Christ calls the same thing for God. And it calls it, look at this portals of universal consciousness itself. This is when you escape reincarnation. They have become individualized divine consciousness, possessing the power and the insight of divine consciousness. The power and insight of divine consciousness. Oh, this is when you die. This is talking about after we die. After we die, and if you escape, and it seems like you could also escape the treadmill of reincarnation. It says they too share in the Christ consciousness, as I said in an earlier letter. They combine their heights of intelligent love with the heights of loving intelligence, combing the power of will with the power of purpose. They are equally male and female in their drives. They are perfect demonstration of strength and nurturing. Hmm. These are the people who escape the treadmill of reincarnation. He says they are the perfect example of what all men and women should be striving to attain. To attain such perfection of being, the human spirit must set aside all divisions and rivalry. Whoever may be your acclaimed prophet, you can be sure that he is life itself and powerful within the brotherhood of all great teachers. Each, each prophet, each teacher has perceived the same reality and lived in such a prayerful way as to ensure he will eventually achieve the goal, the goal of every man, perfection in paradise. So what Christ is saying here, the goal of every man is to escape the treadmill of reincarnation and go into the perfection of paradise. And here he tells us to how to achieve such perfection. The human spirit must set aside all divisions and rivalry. And who may be your acclaimed prophet? When he talked about prophet here, I don't know if it's like prophet as we know in the churches. And he said, you can be assured that he is life itself and powerful within the brotherhood of all great teachers. Each prophet, each teacher has perceived the same reality and lived in such prayerful way as to ensure he will eventually achieve the goal of every man, perfection in paradise. Wow. It is vitally important you should understand this and realize that the divisions you make between your teachers are wholly erroneous because we are all united in our common source of being. We are a brotherhood of beings of life, each manifesting through our individuality the highest truth of our source of being. Yeah, because when we talk about Christ, when we talk about Muhammad, when we talk about Buddha, um, and I know there is some in Buddhist, when we talk about as if they're separate, Christ is saying they're not separate. They're united in the brothers of beings of life. So we should all be united. Don't use all these religion to divide us. So all the ones we hear about Buddha, is it Krishna? I'm not sure if it's Krishna. Buddha, Muhammad, Christ, all of them in different religions. You see how each religion has someone that comes, and Muhammad for Muhammad is for the Muslim, Christ is for the Christians, Buddha is for I'm not sure Buddha is, I don't think he's a Buddhist. I think Krishna is for the Buddhists. All religions. He said Christ is telling us there shouldn't be any division. There should be a unity. All right. He said it's just a brotherhood. We're all brotherhood. Let me tell you, we are all the same. We're connected through the source, through the all. We're all from the same, created from the same power. All right. We are equal in purity, power, beauty, grandeur of spirit, and love. Therefore, the sheep of every religious persuasion, those who have sufficiently evolved in spiritual understanding of the fundamental unity in your source of being, should swiftly seek to unite in equal brotherhood in your towns and countries and reach out and bond with your spiritual brethren worldwide worldwide, irrespective of all that is taking place in the external world. You should transcend all religious differences. Christian, Muslim, Sufi, Jew, Israeli, Palestinians, Hindu, Buddhist, etc., and regard yourself as all being equally within the safe heaven of universal love and universal intelligent protection, at peace with yourselves, with each other, and with those who are determined to fight to a finish. Only in this way will your planet survive the turmoil which lies ahead of you. Yes, which lies ahead of you. So we're going to stop here tonight. And this is letter 3, A of the Christ letters. Christ is telling us, listen, you have to unite, you have to transcend your religious differences. There's no difference. These men who came on this earth and transcend the treadmill of reincarnation and went to the to paradise, to perfection in paradise. There, it's a brotherhood. It's our brothers. We have to look at it too. I know this is sacrilegious. Oh my God. Yeah, Christ is our brother. Buddha is our brother. Muhammad is our brother. Krishna is our brother. Listen, we have to unite. That's how what Christ is saying tonight. This is how we're gonna transcend this world and help this earth to transcend. And see, only in this way will your planet survive the turmoil which lies ahead of you. And we have to come. I'm going to read the last paragraph because we see ourselves so many, the separate, the separate thing. He said, therefore, the sheep, and we went over earlier who the sheep is. There's a sheep in every religion. There's a sheep in every religion. There are goats in every religion. It says, therefore, the sheep of every religious persuasion, those who have sufficiently evolved in spiritual understanding, of the fundamental unity in your source of being should swiftly seek to unite in equal brotherhood in your towns and countries and reach out and bond with your spiritual brethren worldwide, irrespective of all that is taking place in the external world. You should transcend. We shouldn't have any religion. You should transcend all religious differences. Christian, Muslim, Sufi, Jew, Israeli, Palestinian, Hindu, Buddhist, etc. And regard yourself as all being equal within the safe heaven of universal love and universal intelligent protection. That's what we call source. That's what we call the hall. At peace with yourselves, with each other, and with those who are determined to fight to a finish. Only in this way will your planet survive the turmoil which lies ahead of you. Okay, and this is where we stop tonight. Mm, This is where we stop tonight. I didn't read ahead, so I wasn't sure where letter 3A was gonna take us. But here we are, a unity. It mentioned reincarnation tonight. I know many religions doesn't talk about it, but here Christ tell us that's the purpose, to transcend this reincarnation cycle after death. So we'll come back and repeat. And if we don't get it, that's why. Look, it seems as if that's why we keep coming back until we understand um, the truth of existence, until we understand the laws of existence. And if you're listening to me, please, you have to do the work. Don't depend on TikTok and Facebook and what others that's bringing you. This is where you do the work yourself, on yourself. The work is on yourself. You're just doing it for your soul's purpose, and your soul is leading you. But our belief is it is holding us back. That ego, that rebellious ego spirit is holding us back. So tonight, be free, and listen to the guide of your soul. Listen to the guide of your soul on what the plan is for us at this time. Christ says there's a turmoil ahead of us. There's a ahead of us, and the only way we get out of it is to understand who we are. Is to be the sheep. Is to be the sheep that, in spite of whatever comes, we will be able to overcome. And that's this week reading of the Christ letters. We'll pick up next time. on letter 3A. And thank you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming on tonight. And I just thank you all. And I pray, Father, for your blessing upon your children. I thank you for all who have seen this presentation and all that will see this presentation. May they continue to be blessed, Father. May they continue to follow the direction of the and guide of their soul and where it's leading us at this time, Father. And we pray, you said, Christ, you said, when we call, you transcend the entire plane of this earth. And whenever you call, we call, Father, you're there to answer. So we pray tonight, Lord God, that we may listen for your direction and your leadership. I thank you for my sister who came on tonight. Lord God, I pray, God, I know you're working on her thoughts and her mind. And Lord God, I just continue to pray for her strength and her healing. And Lord God, that she too may understand who she really is, understand the laws of existence, and understand that the goal is to be the she, is to transcend this treadmill of reincarnation into perfection. Thank you tonight, Father. Bless us and keep us. We give you all the honor, glory, and praise. And we say, thank you. Thank you, everybody.